Hi guys, and welcome to another RC Plane Guy video. So in this video we're going to be talking about Powerbox sensor switches. So those of you that may or may not know about them, we've been using a lot of these around in models for a long while. So there was a very old kind of V1 a while back, and then for a long while we'd been using the V2, which is more like this, a little bit more chunky, black kind of casing. And it comes with two buttons, well, three buttons, one for turning it on and then two more for turning on batteries 1 and 2. Well, now we're moving on to the V3 sensor switch. So this has been out for a little while again now, but I thought I'd just do a little video and an overview on using it as another useful video to put out there. I've used a few of these now in a few of my models and I think they're great. They're a very useful tool to have. Very handy for saving your models and giving that extra bit of peace of mind as a battery redundancy system, as well as regulating your voltage and various other benefits. So what we're going to do is give a brief overview of how to set this up and what kind of uses they can do for your model, and yeah, we'll go from there. So here we have the version 3 Powerbox sensor switch, along with a couple of Life batteries. So these are just 2-cell Life batteries, and then we've got the instruction manual that comes with it, and yeah, it's very simple setup, and just thought I'd run through some basic functions of it. So obviously it's a very small compact unit, quite thin and small in size, just very easy to slot 2 screws in, and away you go. In the pack, when you buy them, it does actually come with a wood template that comes with kind of a cutout specifically to fit this type of switch that you can then simply glue straight into your model, or however you might like to fix it. It has dual battery redundancy, so you plug 2 batteries in, and it regulates the voltage going to your system. So you can set it at either 6 volts or 7.8 volts, depending on whether you're running a high voltage system or a kind of standard 6-volt servo setup. And then simply the 2 other ends plug into your receiver. So depending on your receiver, you might have 2 battery slots. Otherwise, you can generally plug one into a battery slot and then one just into a separate servo slot. So I've already had these labeled up from when I plug them into my Futaba receiver. I plug one into a DG1 type slot and then one into channel 7. And yeah, it was just whatever I had free on the receiver at the time. Okay, so first time using it, I would always recommend getting the settings of the switch set up first before you plug in your receiver, because what you don't want to do is have it already set, either if you bought it maybe second hand and somebody else was running a high volt system and then you want it running at a 6-volt system. You don't want it all plugging in and then ending up blowing your receiver or your servos or whatever it might be plugged into your electric setup. So generally I would always recommend plugging the batteries in first. So if we go ahead and plug those in, so a nice tight click in fit in there, of course matching all the polarities up. And so then your 2 ends there are free to plug into your receiver, but obviously we're going to leave them blank for now. So to turn on the unit, it's very simple. It's just got one button. So you'll see here that there's actually 2 little LEDs. So to turn it on, you simply press and hold and then press again, and you'll see the lights come on. So you have 1 light for each battery. And there we are, the system's on. So these LEDs actually relate to something. So in the instruction manual, you'll see here that there is a LED setting. So depending on your percentage, it will actually change color. So as your batteries drop in voltage, you'll be notified through the LEDs, which is a very smart and handy thing to have. It depends, obviously, the usefulness of that depends on the type of battery you're using. Something like a life battery holds its voltage for a lot longer period of time, so generally it will always kind of stay there until, and then suddenly drop off a cliff and you're very quickly into the lower end. Whereas something like a LiPo, that's kind of a gradual reduction, you'll probably see it go through these stages more kind of slower. So another thing to be aware of is setting the battery display. So what you can actually see here is there's different colours set up for different battery types. So what we're going to do is just make sure the system is set up for life battery. So what to do here is simply turn the power box on and then hold the button pressed in again. After a few seconds, what happens is the LED go out and then a sequence of the colours follow this pattern. So it starts with green for LiPo, blue for Lion, and then red for life, which is obviously what we want, and then before finally finishing to white for NIM. And all you have to do is simply let go on the colour that you want it to be set up for. So if we press and hold, the lights go out, green for LiPo, blue for Lion, life for red, and let go. So that's now set as the life battery type for what we want this system set up for. So then the next step is setting the output voltage. So we have all the battery type all set up now, and we can turn it off. So as I mentioned earlier, so you have kind of two voltage settings that you can set the switch up for. You can either have it running at 6 volts for kind of a more standard servo, or 7.8 volts for high voltage servos. So you may ask, what's the point of regulating it if you're going for the high voltage system? Why not just have the voltage running straight through? The advantage is that it actually suppresses the high battery voltage that you get just after charging, so that it remains stable right from initially plugging the batteries in, and it means that servo speed and power are constant for a longer period and you don't get any initial drop off. I mean, you're really gonna not notice that unless you're really doing kind of precision flying and kind of really drawing on those high voltage servos. But yeah, I would say it's definitely worth considering. And I think as standard it comes preset for 6 volts, so generally you probably, if you're buying them new, you generally probably are not going to need to change that. But if you ever do want to change it to high volt system, or if you buy one second hand, it's always best to just go through this procedure just in case it's set up in the wrong voltage method and you don't want it blowing your system or anything like that. So to do that, what we're going to do is actually take these out first, because the way to change the system is holding the button pressed in whilst you connect the batteries, and you do this one at a time. And what you'll see is that the LED will light up, and it'll initially light up green and then switch to red after a few, I think it's about 3 seconds. And again, all you do is release the button when the colour is correct for the required voltage. So green relates to 6 volts and red is 7.8 volts. So what we do is, if we just get the plug in place, hold it down, and green, let it go. The white flashes to confirm that it's set up and all complete. We then get the other battery to do the exact same thing, so making sure you're changing the battery and the battery lead. Plug it in just a little bit, so I'm not fully connecting it in, I'm just getting it ready with my finger ready so that I can push it in as soon as I press the button. So ready with the second one, holding the button, plug the servo switches in, green, and release. White button flashes to signal it's complete. And that's them both set up for the standard 6 volt servo. Okay guys, well thank you for watching the video on the Powerbox V3 sensor switch. Hopefully you found this video useful and picked up some handy little hints and tips maybe, or just helps you understand what it is and what it does. So yeah, let me know if you found this video useful. Drop a message in the comments to let me know if you'd like more of this kind of video, or reviews or overviews on any other little products that we have in the modeling world. Hopefully it's something that I have, but yeah, let me know and we'll see what we can do. See you soon. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to keep up to date on all the latest videos. And don't forget, it's free, so you have no excuse. Make sure to drop a comment in the video or drop me a message to let me know if you'd like to see anything else in my videos. And if you haven't already, follow the link tree either in my profile or usually in the description of the video that will take you to an online portal to access any of my other social media channels. I post a lot on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it may be that you're on, I'm on it. So go on and follow it. As quite often my content varies from platform to platform. I don't often post the same stuff, so be sure to follow in them all. If you're on Facebook, be sure to check out the brand new RC Plane Guy Community Facebook group, which is a whole new space I've created primarily for you as the viewers, and to be able to interact with each other, comment, post your own photos and videos, share that experience and knowledge that's out there. I know there's so many different aspects of the hobby out there, and it's great to see everyone enjoying it and showcasing it for yourselves. So make sure you join the group and post some content, because it's great to see, and I really want to build that into a great place